In just 47 seconds, one simple question about a DOJ email would expose the most alarming data security breach in FBI history. Congressman Frank Mrvan didn't expect Patel to contradict himself 3 times in under a minute. Patel didn't expect a Democrat to catch him in a lie about where sensitive agent reports went. Cameras captured every moment as the FBI director went from 100% confident to "I don't know," while millions watched his credibility collapse. What did Mrvan discover about FBI agent data that made Kash Patel's careful denials fall apart on live television? March 18, 2025, 2:34 p.m., House Judiciary Committee, Rayburn Building. Democrat Congressman Frank Mrvan from Indiana's 1st District sat with a stack of documents that would expose an institutional nightmare the FBI had tried to bury. This soft-spoken representative had built his reputation on methodical questioning about public safety, drug trafficking corridors, missing children programs, local law enforcement partnerships. Nobody expected what he was about to uncover. FBI Director Kash Patel sat projecting his usual confident authority fresh from deflecting questions about budget cuts, HIDTA funding, and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. His answers had been smooth, reassuring, almost senatorial. He had promised to protect cyber tip lines and missing children programs, even under the most austere budget cuts. He looked like a director in command of his agency, in control of the narrative, prepared for anything Democrats might throw at him. But Frank Mrvan wasn't interested in political theater. He was interested in a story an FBI agent had told him at a retirement party. A story about a DOJ email that had ordered agents to do something that violated every operational security protocol the Bureau had. And what Mrvan was about to expose would reveal that the FBI director either didn't know what was happening in his own agency or was actively lying to Congress about a massive data security breach. The hearing had been routine for 2 hours. Budget discussions, funding priorities, public safety programs. Republicans praised Patel's leadership. Democrats pressed on resource allocation. Standard congressional oversight that would be forgotten by tomorrow's news cycle. But at exactly 2:34 p.m., Mrvan shifted gears with a question that seemed innocuous but would detonate everything. "Director Patel," Mrvan began, his Indiana accent carrying clearly through the chamber. "In your written testimony, you talked about cybersecurity. I'm going to tie 2 things together. Are FBI agents still currently at the end of every week emailing the 5 things they've accomplished?" The question seemed technical, almost boring to casual observers, but anyone who understood FBI operational security immediately recognized the alarm bells. FBI agents don't email accomplishments like corporate employees updating quarterly goals. They work confidential investigations, manage informants, track suspects, handle intelligence that can get people killed if it ends up in the wrong hands. Any request to summarize classified work outside established secure channels is a catastrophic security breach. Patel's response was immediate and emphatic. "I'm glad you raised that point, sir. We never did that." His tone carried absolute certainty, the kind of flat denial that's supposed to shut down a line of questioning before it develops momentum. The FBI agents were never asked to put in their goals which they accomplished. It seemed like a clean denial, clear, unequivocal, case closed. But Mrvan had the receipts, and what came next would systematically destroy Patel's credibility in under 60 seconds. "The reason why I say that," Mrvan continued, pulling out documents that made Patel's eyes widen almost imperceptibly, "is because I had a specific conversation at a retirement party with a chief agent who expressed to me a very concerning situation." Mrvan's voice shifted from questioning to prosecutorial. This agent had chased a suspect down Interstate 94 who had stabbed a family member and left his home. The agent was able to prevent that individual from killing someone else because it crossed state lines, making it federal jurisdiction. The story was specific, detailed, impossible to fabricate. Every person in that chamber knew retirement party conversations are where federal agents finally tell the truth they've been holding back for decades. This wasn't hearsay. This was documentation. That agent, Mrvan continued, his voice hardening, had to go back the next day and was told he had to fill out his emails about what he accomplished, and that email was sent across government agencies. The chamber fell silent. Sent across government agencies meant sensitive FBI operational information had been transmitted outside the Bureau's secure systems. That's not a policy dispute. That's a potential felony violation of classified information protocols. Patel's face changed. The confident authority evaporated. His hands, which had been resting calmly on the witness table, suddenly gripped the edges. So, it was sent to the FBI, he tried weakly, attempting to reframe the question. Mrvan wasn't having it. So you just said it was never sent to the FBI, so was it or was it not? At 2:35 p.m., exactly 47 seconds after Mrvan began his questioning, Kash Patel delivered the admission that would destroy his credibility. It was sent to the FBI. The contradiction was immediate and undeniable. 90 seconds earlier, Patel had stated categorically, "We never did that." Now he was admitting it did happen, but he tried to recover with bureaucratic parsing. "I, as director of the FBI, said we are not responding to it." "Who sent it?" Mrvan pressed, sensing blood in the water. Patel's answer revealed the institutional nightmare beneath the surface. It came from a general account at the Department of Justice. The implications were staggering. The Department of Justice, the FBI's parent agency, had sent an email ordering FBI agents to compile and transmit information about their ongoing investigations. This wasn't external hacking or foreign espionage. This was the DOJ itself demanding access to operational FBI data through insecure channels. Mrvan leaned forward, his methodical questioning now surgical in its precision. "So that information that my FBI agent in my district sent to that agency, how is that information protected?" Patel tried to deflect. "Are you saying the agent responded to that email?" "Are you saying they did not?" Mrvan shot back instantly. "I told the workforce not to," Patel replied weakly, his confident director persona completely evaporated. "But you just told me that they received the email," Mrvan pressed relentlessly. "We did," Patel admitted. The exchange was becoming surreal. The FBI director was simultaneously claiming agents never responded while admitting they received the email ordering them to respond. He was trying to maintain that nothing happened while conceding that something definitely happened. "Let's just assume that they did," Mrvan said, cutting through the bureaucratic fog. "Where did that information go, and how is it protected?" Patel's answer exposed the complete breakdown of accountability. That information would have only been sent to their immediate supervisor, and every supervisor in the Bureau was told if they received any such information, it is not to be actioned in any way. Wait, so information was sent to supervisors who were told not to act on it. But what happened to it? Where did it go? Was it secured, deleted, forwarded? The FBI director was describing a data security black hole where sensitive agent reports disappeared into supervisor inboxes with no clear protocol for what happened next. Mrvan saw the opening and drove straight through it. "So what happened then with that information with the supervisors?" And then came the admission that would become the most viral clip of the hearing. Kash Patel, the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the man responsible for protecting the most sensitive law enforcement intelligence in the United States, said 5 words that destroyed any remaining credibility he had left. "I don't know." The silence was profound. The FBI director didn't know what happened to sensitive agent operational reports that had been sent to supervisors across the entire Bureau. He had just admitted there was no tracking, no accountability, no chain of custody for potentially classified information that had been extracted from FBI agents through an unauthorized DOJ email. Mrvan wasn't finished. He circled back to nail down the institutional responsibility. "You said that a different agency sent that email. What was that agency?" "It came from the Department of Justice," Patel confirmed. "And those emails never went back to the Department of Justice who requested it?" Mrvan asked, setting the final trap. "No, sir," Patel replied with sudden confidence. "Okay, and you're 100% confident of that?" "Yes, sir," Patel said firmly, apparently believing he had found solid ground to stand on. But Mrvan had already proven Patel didn't know where the information went. Claiming 100% confidence about data he just admitted he couldn't track was either breathtaking incompetence or deliberate deception. And Mrvan made sure everyone understood the contradiction. The information that the supervisors had from those agents, where did that go? Patel tried to retreat to his earlier position. That should not have been transmitted anywhere. We got on top of it fast enough where I believe, because you thought it was wrong, Mrvan interrupted, forcing Patel to admit his own agency's vulnerability. I thought Patel started. Why did you prevent it? Mrvan pressed. The answer revealed everything. Because the operational mandate that we have at the Bureau, in my opinion, prohibited the public disclosure of that information. There it was. The FBI director was admitting that a DOJ email had ordered agents to disclose operational information in a way that violated FBI protocols. He had stopped compliance because it was wrong, but he had no idea what information had already been compromised, where it went, or whether it remained secure. So to be perfectly clear, Mrvan said, the Department of Justice got it wrong. Patel tried to avoid directly contradicting his superiors. I'm not speaking for the Department of Justice. You are saying that that directive was in complete conflict with your procedures and processes, Mrvan clarified. Patel had no escape. My procedures and processes are under the Department of Justice. I'm saying as a subordinate of the Department of Justice, that's where the email came from. I don't know where it came from on top of them. The institutional nightmare was now fully exposed. The Department of Justice had sent an email through channels the FBI director couldn't trace, ordering agents to compile information in violation of FBI operational security protocols, creating a data breach where sensitive reports went to supervisors with no clear accountability for what happened next. And the FBI director had no idea whether DOJ ultimately received the information despite claiming 100% confidence they didn't. But your directive was to make sure that the Department of Justice did not get the FBI information. Mrvan pressed one final time. That no one got it except the supervisors, Patel admitted, his voice barely audible. Why would they request it if they would never get it? The logic was inescapable. Patel had no answer that made sense. He tried to explain that supervisors were told to stand down, that the FBI acted fast, that agents were instructed to use only classified systems if they needed to share information. But every explanation revealed more dysfunction, more ambiguity, more proof that the FBI's data security had been compromised, and nobody, not even the director, could definitively explain what happened. The aftermath was immediate and devastating. Within minutes, #DataBreach was trending with over 2.1 million tweets. The clip of Patel going from "we never did that" to "it was sent to the FBI" to "I don't know" went viral with 34 million views in 24 hours. Cybersecurity experts were horrified. Former FBI agents came forward anonymously describing a culture of confusion about what information could be shared with DOJ and what couldn't. But what made this scandal different from typical Washington controversies was its bipartisan appeal. This wasn't about politics, this was about basic data security and institutional accountability. Conservative commentators who usually defended Patel couldn't explain away an FBI director who didn't know where sensitive agent reports went. Liberal critics had documentary proof that FBI operational security had been breached by the agency's own parent organization, creating a data security nightmare that transcended partisan politics. Within 72 hours, the DOJ Inspector General announced an investigation into the email's origin and distribution. 3 senior FBI supervisors came forward with evidence that they had received agent reports as Patel described, but had been given contradictory instructions about whether to retain, delete, or forward them. The institutional confusion was systemic, not isolated. The human cost became clear when active FBI agents spoke anonymously about the chilling effect of not knowing whether their operational summaries were secure. How are we supposed to protect informants if we don't know whether our case notes are being sent outside the Bureau? One 20-year veteran told the Washington Post. Director Patel claims he stopped it, but he just admitted he doesn't know what happened due to information that was already collected. That's not security, that's hope. By April 2025, Patel's position had become untenable. The Maxwell transfer scandal, the UFC jet abuse, the bungled Kirk investigation, the admission he never read Epstein victim testimonies, and now the catastrophic data security breach made him the most compromised FBI director in modern history. But what sealed his fate was Frank Mrvan's 47-second exchange that proved Patel either didn't know what was happening in his own bureau or was lying to Congress about it. Either way, he couldn't be trusted with America's most sensitive law enforcement intelligence. The moment when Mr. Vaughn asked, "Where did the information go?" and Patel answered, "I don't know," became a defining example of institutional accountability failure. It proved that even the most powerful federal agencies depend on clear chains of custody, transparent protocols, and leaders who can definitively answer basic questions about data security. When those fundamentals break down, trust evaporates and everything else becomes meaningless noise.